I'd like to welcome you all to the spring edition of the Campus Community Council meeting. We have an action-packed agenda, starting with PSU updates. I don't know who is going to...
First thing is spring events. I'm happy to weigh in, if that is okay. Hi, everyone. I am grateful to have such a crowd. This is wonderful for a CCC evening. My name is Jess Dutil. I serve as a director in our student life office and oversee community impact, new student experience, student engagement, and also student life encompasses campus recreation. So I'm happy to be here tonight and talk a little bit about our spring events, including Spring Fling. I actually brought some handouts, so if we want to pass them out throughout that huge crowd over there, that would be great. But I know people are tuning in at home, so happy to review all of this. First, I just want to bring your attention to our Engage platform. This is an external-facing platform that all community members have access to. So if you're interested in learning about all the opportunities and events and programs that we have on campus and throughout the community, please go to the link provided for folks at home. It's plymouth.campuslabs.com/engage. So this is where students will log into to view all of the upcoming opportunities on campus. And again, we partner with our local nonprofits and community-based organizations as well to host volunteer projects and experiences off campus. So students can see all the many events available to them and can RSVP, and also they can provide feedback on the programs and events through this portal. So it gives us some really great data in terms of what students enjoy, what they don't enjoy, what they're looking for, and this is our primary platform that we use in student life. On the other side of the handout is information about Spring Fling. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with our Spring Fling concert. I live on Fairgrounds Road, and I was told last year by my partner that he could hear the bass all the way on Fairgrounds Road. So I do acknowledge this is a concert. It is one that we host right in front of our Mary Lyon Hall, so it is in the center of campus, and we do a lot of work around education and social norming to make sure it is a really safe and fun event, and I'm sure Steve is happy to talk about that as well. But first off, we are kicking off Spring Fling with our roller rink event, which is going to be Saturday, April 1st. And that is going to be inside the courtroom. So we are actually going to be roller skating in the hub, which I wasn't sold on at first, especially because we have an ice rink. And I thought, wouldn't it be great just to go down to the ice arena? But students were really adamant that they want to roller skate. So we will be kicking off our Spring Fling ticket claiming process at the roller skating event. Students will be getting into the concert this year for free with proof that they are an active student, and if they claim their tickets ahead of time. And this is our way of just anticipating the numbers and making sure that we have the appropriate personnel to manage the event. If students show up day of without a ticket, we will sell them a ticket for $10. Guest tickets ahead of time are going to be $25. We just want to be upfront and honest. Some of the issues that we've experienced in the past relative to behaviors have mostly been from guests. So not even PSU students, but guests from other campuses in New Hampshire or friends of students. So we, of course, want to be a welcoming community and campus, but we also want to make it perhaps a little bit more challenging for guests to come and misbehave. And so we will not be selling any day of tickets for the concert for guests. We are also, as mentioned, we launched a Roots project this past fall. We're doing a lot around social norming and messaging. So over the next month, we will be really engaging students and thinking about what it means to be a positive community member and a good neighbor, and being kind to each other, and taking care of our bodies and our community and the environment in terms of littering. So we're investing a lot of energy and efforts into that. We are going to host a Battle of the Bands event on Saturday, April 15th from 7 to 9. That is going to be in front of the Hub, our Hartman Union building on Alumni Green, and that is for student bands. So we're going to have some local celebrity judges, and we are going to select a student band to open at Spring Fling Concert that evening. So I put that there. There might be some live music that you can enjoy throughout the community, but it will be an early night. It is going to end at 9 p.m. Our Spring Fling concert itself is Saturday, April 29th. That starts at it starts at 8:30 p.m. and that goes until 1 a.m., which is well past my typical bedtime. But we will be fully staffed. I will be there. I will be up way past my bedtime. We will have our UPD there. We will have presence from the UNH UPD, and we will also have a security team there as well. So again, the music will be loud, but it will be on campus. Groove Boston is the DJ, and again, we will have our student band opener. And we also wanted to make sure the community knew that Groove Boston is going to do a sound check on April 28th at 5 p.m. That will last for approximately 30 minutes. A little bit of noise that Friday. We are this year, for the first time, going to be providing pizza throughout the entire event, as well as water. And but it is, again, as in years past, we are going to have a beer tent for 21 plus, which is inspected by the Liquor Commission and run by PSU Dining. So that's Spring Fling. And then Senior Week, which is on the bottom of the second page of the handout, starts May 1st. And we're going to have, as you can see, plenty of opportunities for our seniors to engage with the community and in the community one last time. So we are going to have Pints with Plymouth. It's going to be faculty members, staff members, students down at Panther Pub. We're going to go on a trip to the Red Sox game. We have a special movie night, and we're going to partner with local restaurants to provide one last taste of Plymouth for our seniors. So more to come, because our team is actively planning that week, but it should be a really wonderful opportunity for our seniors to celebrate their achievements and to have plenty of time to connect with all those throughout the community that meant a lot on their journeys with us. So we're excited about that. Commencement is Friday, graduate commencement for our grad students, Friday, May 12th at 6 p.m. For undergraduate students, commencement is May 13th at 10 a.m. So Friday and then Saturday, and then both ceremonies will be at Allwell. So that's what we have. Are there any questions about Spring Fling or Senior Week or commencement?
I do. Why does the music have to be so loud, and why is it going till 1 a.m.?
That is a great question. It is a concert, so naturally the music is loud at a concert. This is meant to be a really fun opportunity for students to celebrate all their achievements throughout the academic year. It became important to us over the years to make sure it was in the center of campus to minimize the disruption to Plymouth, the community. I spent 10 years living on Russell Street with my family and then my young children, all three at the time in diapers. So I do know the headaches that some of our local residents and community members experience during these campus-wide traditions, events, and celebrations. Is part of the reason we moved over to Fairgrounds Road, to be honest. And now I have a couple teenagers and a middle schooler and a 2-year-old. And yet we can still hear the bass, as I shared. So I do sympathize and recognize that this evening is one of great celebration for our students and our campus, but can be disruptive for our community. The music is loud because it's a concert, It's not excessively loud, I can share that. It's not louder than any typical concert.
My TV, it's loud.
I appreciate that. I think we're trying to be really mindful of what that means for the community, and a concern that I'm happy to bring back to our team and to Groove Boston, and make sure that students can hear the music and dance, but it's not excessive for the community. So we can have further conversation around that for sure. But I am grateful for you sharing that concern. It's important for us to hear it. Anything else to add, Steve?
The only thing I'd add is the reason we're going to 1 a.m. is because we've experienced in the past, we've had very good luck with ending it at that time, because by then we've tired them out. We've kept them on campus for that time, given them something to do for that amount of time. So by the time they're ready to leave, they go home. We're finding most of them are just going home, going to bed, and there are zero problems off campus.
Thank you. Yeah, that's been a really important piece, to tire them out and get them home. Yes.
Well, Patrice Scott, sorry, I live on
Hi,
Russell
Patrice.
Street for 30 years, so I have a hard time saying there's zero problems ever. But I just wondered, I appreciate the university's efforts to change things up and to work with the town and to try to see what we can do. And nobody's against kids having fun. But I'm just curious about, open air concert versus you have, a beautiful place, open air in Wellness North and fields and things. I'm just wondering, I know we used to have something over on the Holderness side, which we tried, and I just wondered maybe we should try something inside. I mean, if it's one of these big, loud, crazy things, but nobody's upset with any little disruption, but it's not what happens at the concert, it's what happens afterwards in the
Sure.
neighborhoods.
Yeah, Patrice, it was tried inside 1 year. I forget, the year escapes me. I can't remember what year it was.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, and it was not well attended. The kids did not want to be inside.
Blame 'em.
And they wanted to be outside, and we've just had, with our location where we have it now, we've had a lot less problems, because there are some problems. You have to now take thousands of kids, get them across back to campus and go over the bridge, which is a concern in and of itself. The location we have at the time we do it, we've had great success the way we're doing it exactly right now. That's just the best way to say it.
Yeah, I just wondered about the, if you tried inside, I didn't.
Yeah, we have, and it was
But
not
I
well attended at all.
agree that Mary Lyon, it's better, I think, to keep the kids on campus and try to, because most of them can be managed
Right.
that way rather than traversing the bridge.
Yeah.
It's also, I think Mary Line's a much better location than we did it behind Hyde a couple of times.
Oh, yeah,
in
we
that
had a
parking
fall.
lot.
We did in the parking lot.
It was
Awful, yeah.
very, very loud because of the echoing off the building into
Correct.
that closer residential neighborhood. That was some of the, I thought, some of the most disruptive.
A lot more complaints.
Yeah, the way you have it set up now between Mary Lyon, Blair behind it, Samuel Reed Hall, it kind of blocks the noise and sends it kind of across the bridge towards Holderness, really. Most of the noise, and I'm sorry, I don't know where you live, so you obviously hear where you live as well. Russell Street, sorry, yeah, and you obviously get the residual effect of that over there, so.
I think the other important piece is to talk about how it's fenced in.
Yep. It
and
is
the
a,
access is limited.
thank you. It is a completely enclosed venue, so it is fenced in, and there is no re-entry. So once our students and their guests come in, they are there. When they leave, they cannot come back in. So it is secure in that way.
I was just gonna say the Hyde Hall parking lot was actually a fall event. I don't think
Fall Fling.
Spring Fling was never actually held there, but there was a concert.
Yeah, at
I think
least
just
twice.
once. I think just once. It was so loud.
It was
It was
shocking.
Right. That was echoed to the whole town. And I think,
Yeah.
you know,
That didn't work. And what we can do is think positively for minimal wind so that the noise doesn't carry. So if you could all think positive thoughts.
Right? Yeah, the inside thing, that there was a fire code where they had to have all the lights on, so the kids were like, this is no fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was the reason.
Yeah.
So everyone just left.
Yeah, concert with all the lights on is.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
no
It's hard to
fun.
get too excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot rougher off campus.
Did that.
Our neighborhood that year.
Yes, it was.
So
Yeah, they did it.
that was so much worse than what it was.
Having a concert and something to do, it's the way to do it.
just to go off of that, Chief, I think we have found that having students on campus, even when we have the beer tent for 21 plus, the behaviors are much more positive than when they have their off-campus events that are not sanctioned by PSU, where their mentors are not present to help guide them and their behavior. And again, we will be having pizza the entire time and water available the whole time. So hopefully that will help to minimize some of those negative behaviors we've seen.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Who's covering enrollment update?
I could give some numbers. Our admissions team reports, we have 619 deposits, which is ahead of last year at this time. That's as of close of business on Monday, as well as we're up 3,000 applications. We have over 7,000 applications. So hopefully that will lead, it's still too early to tell, but hopefully that will lead to positive yields.
Excellent. Any questions for John?
How's your retention been of the, fall to spring? I know that's always a big jump when they come back in the spring. How has that freshman class done, or first year class done in coming back?
Our retention rate did increase. Our overall retention is at 70%. I can't answer, Tracy, or Jess may be able to answer the retention fall to spring for this year. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was a little higher than 70%. It was actually better this year. And we have a new retention group that's working on that through admissions, and there's a whole group working on that. So hopefully it'll get better. Just to mention the application, there's a common app this year, so we've gotten a lot more applications than we normally would because they can apply to one and it feeds to all different schools that they check. So that's a little difference.
Okay. Campus building plans update.
I can go over that, and John will probably talk a little bit about Hyde too. Hyde is going to start being renovated this year. We got some Board of Trustees money, $26.5 million to do several projects throughout the campus, which will be spread over multiple years. We're going to renovate Hyde. 6 of our apartments are coming offline this summer to start renovating 6 of the apartments, and hopefully keep going through the complex because they all need renovated. We're going to do a lot of general maintenance, roofs, those types of things. We got a grant for our D&M building for robotics. We're going to be doing some work in our D&M building for our robotics program. We have an AC project going on in the athletics building. And Highland Hall is probably one of the most exciting projects the students put forth to have our health services and different health needs met over at Highland Hall. So we're doing a redesign on Highland Hall to try to make that a one-stop shop for the groups for, and I see Ted looking at me because he lives in Highland Hall, but we're just going out for project estimates in April. So that would encompass our health services, our mental health facilities, and any other thing that sort of fits into that gamut. We have some extra space in there, so we're working on that. The students actually put forward for a position that they're going to help for health services. Jess could probably talk way more about the health services that we need to have for the students, the mental health and health services. But those are some of our big projects that we're going to start this summer.
In preparation, like you said, you're taking 6 apartments offline, just so that the property managers know off campus, what sort of influx do you think might move off campus with, I'm sure, 6 apartments, I'm assuming 140 extra beds offline for you?
We just opened up the housing for next year. We're going to be opening that up. I would say that we're going to try to do some more configurations on campus, but I would say there would probably be some more students that would come to the landlords at that point. We're starting to question the students, talk to them about what they want to do, so when we have better numbers, we can talk to you about what we're seeing and hearing.
Do you think you could have like Amanda reach out to she knows most of the off-campus folks?
Yep, we can do that.
Just to give us a heads up that If I
Yep.
fill all my apartments with non-students and you end up with students without beds,
Yeah, we'll have beds, I just don't know, because we have one dorm offline right now. So several of the students are looking at wanting to have a single room, and we'll be able to accommodate those type of things on campus. So, but I'm sure there'll be people that'll want to move off too, just for the kitchens and all the other amenities. Mhm.
Will the Hyde Hall project just be a summer project, or do you picture that extending?
It's going to be multiple, it'll be multiple years. It's going to be phased.
Okay.
Mhm.
Of summer work, or will you continue?
We're trying to do
into
mostly
the school year?
summer slammers is what we try to do, to have the least impact, but it'll continue on. Not enough John wants to give his little, no?
Just, you've covered it all.
The new services that are moving into Highland Hall, where are they coming from?
They're coming out of mostly houses on campus. So health services is in a house, our counseling is in a house. So we're trying to, hopefully the police will maybe move over to Highland. I know Steve's all excited. We're looking at the cost of that to have everybody in one place. So
And then what's the plan for those houses?
we're not really sure yet. We'll have to see how viable they are. Some of them we could probably fix, some we may tear down. It just depends on what, we have to have someone in to look at them.
We'd certainly appreciate them back on the tax roll.
Oh, they're internal to campus.
If they sold them, they would not be.
Yeah, I could say we're not going to sell them.
None of them? Any
None
of
of
the
them.
ones even on the
No.
fringes?
No.
What's the theory there?
The theory would be that we have other things that can move into those, especially as we,
Well, if you were going to tear them down.
well, yeah, if we tear them down, I mean, it just depends. Is it worth fixing them up, or we tear them down? You know, we haven't had anybody in to look at them. We have a group that comes in and assesses them. So, you know, is it worth fixing up? Is it not? We haven't had those questions yet because we still have people in them, so.
Totally makes sense. I just think, you know, if you have ones that you're going to tear down, you know, we do have a housing shortage in town, and if they're on the edges and not in the core, maybe you think differently.
I highly doubt we'll tear anything down. If you've seen our other properties, they're sort of.
Any more questions for Tracy on those plans? All right, I don't know who we're having talk about summer events, but I'm going to look over this way unless
Sure.
it's Jess.
I think the first thing to mention is that the New Hampshire Music Festival will not be here. So that organization as a nonprofit has dissolved. So that's one thing.
Actually, they're coming back, they're not here, but they are,
They're reviving,
they are reviving,
Great.
and they are gonna have some small summer concerts here.
just not on campus. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
welcome.
So Steve brought our orientation dates, and our associate director who oversees orientation new student experience, Kyle, is in the audience. So if you have questions about orientation, he would be an excellent person to answer those questions. But we will have a June orientation for our new first year students to come to campus, which will be overnight. So we have Tuesday, June 20th and Wednesday, the 21st. That is session A. Our session B is that Friday, the 23rd, and the Saturday, the 24th. Session C is going to be the following Monday, June 26th and 27th. Session D is Thursday, June 29th, and that Friday, the 30th. And then we have a session only for transfer students, and that's going to be in the middle of the summer, July 14th. So there will be one makeup day, July 15th. So those are days that we do anticipate new students coming to campus and joining us. And I do want to emphasize how appreciative we are for community members to be so welcoming. For some of the students, it's the first time they get an opportunity to really explore downtown and Main Street and interface with some of our business leaders. And it is always wonderful for families, parents, students to make those connections with their new favorite local restaurants and so on and so forth. So thank you for being so welcoming in the community during those days, especially for our new students. Other events, yes.
You know if they'll be having the part-time job fair?
We will be doing the job fair along with those orientation dates,
Good.
yes.
We got some good prospects
Mhm.
last year from that, so.
Great, thank you for participating.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Excellent. Yeah, we really do enjoy and appreciate having our off-campus partners join us for those opportunities, so thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
And then, of course, at the end of the summer, just before our fall semester starts, we will be having our first year orientation, our Panther Days. Students come back a couple days early for that weekend orientation, and then we will be kicking off the fall. But it feels too early to talk about the fall, so I will stop there. Any other questions about summer orientation? Other activities on campus? I know the Silver Center will have events and so on and so forth. And again, you know, there is a great place, the Engage platform, the link on the front page of the handout to check for upcoming events on campus. And that will continue to be live throughout the summer. Thank you for this.
So I'm going to put you under the gun again.
Oh, sure.
You know, last year, Marlin put together a program to have on campus to invite members of the community in. And it's on the agenda today, but, you know, as many people don't know, Marlin is going to be leaving for another position shortly. I don't remember the exact date. So who would we be looking to put together that event for the fall?
I can talk to that. You would actually reach out to Pat Barr. It'll be Dawn or whoever is in that office.
Thank you. And that is public news that Marlon Collingwood, who has served as our VP of Communications Enrollment and Student Life, has accepted a new VP position at Point Park University in Pittsburgh. So we are all excited for Marlon. Of course, we will miss him and appreciate the leadership he provided, but excited that he is going home to his home state of Pennsylvania.
Excellent. Anything else on that? Or should I assume that you're going to take over the town updates piece because you have the data.
I'm gonna look at 3-4 individuals and see if we can get by that button. I just think an opening from a town perspective is that since November, I've been meeting with the university, most recently meeting with Marlin the third Monday of every month to really start to open up the dialogue and strengthen the partnership that we have with them. Moving forward, I'll be meeting with Jess and John on the third Monday of the month. So if you have concerns, comments, anything you want me to bring up in those meetings, please don't hesitate to reach out, because it really needs to be open and honest communications, and I want it to be as transparent as possible. Some of the things that we've accomplished around Christmas time, we were able to use the parking lots across the street here for parking for downtown businesses during the Christmas season. We have been doing some training with the university, the police department, both Plymouth PD and Plymouth State University Police Department, as well in conjunction with the fire department. It's been doing some training using Belknap Hall. The other exciting news that's coming up is we'll be entering into a cluster project with the university, and people may say, what does that mean? What that means is really the town of Plymouth has foregone their economic development in the past few years. So we'll be working with the university, and Jess will be my contact initially in developing a committee that will represent the town, but also the university professors and students that will take part in this project. And I don't know if many of you saw the project that they did with the Berlin-Gorham Water Sewer Department, but that team went up there and they put together a program with regards to the lagoons in Berlin and Gorham, which we're having a tremendous amount of problems with. They came up with 3 viable solutions, and all of them were accepted by Department of Environmental Services. That presentation was actually done here on campus, and I've got to say, watching what those students put together and knowing that DES accepted those projects and they finally found one solution that they're moving forward with, just speaks words about the cluster project and how it benefited Berlin and Gorham. And then at the legislative breakfast that they held back a month ago, maybe, those students that participated in that project, as well as the professors, spoke about it, and it was just absolutely amazing to see what they brought to Berlin and Gorham. And we can only hope that the team that's assembled from the university and the team that's assembled from the town will work closely together to come up with some economic development plan, whether it's a spin-off of the master plan that we have and being more directed to the village commercial downtown area to address not only economic development but also parking. So we're excited to kick that off. Monday night I'll be taking some names to the board that people have expressed an interest to be on that committee, and we will get that kicked off next week with an email to Jess and moving that forward. So some exciting times, and I think our communications are stronger than what they've been in the past. I will miss Marlin because we had some great conversations and dialogue with regards to how to move things forward. So, but I do look forward to working continuously with Tracy, but as well with Jess and John. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, do you want to address the town ordinance and rules as well as Chief Morrison and Deputy Pierce and Deputy Buffington?
Sure. Yeah, basically, if you guys have any questions about our ordinances, but obviously mainly coming up for the spring, one of the biggest issues is noise, right? We do have a pretty strict noise ordinance here in Plymouth. There is no time limit. There's no quiet hours. So, I mean, at 8 o'clock at night, if you're making really bad, loud noises and it's disturbing people, you can get a ticket for it. We do a lot of proactive work for noise, alcohol, littering, open containers. I know our team does a really good job. But if you guys are experiencing a problem with consistent noise, call us because we might not be seeing it. So, you know, when in doubt, call us, let us know. But we are doing a lot of proactive stuff out there.
I think one thing just to add to that, Alex, in conversations that you and Nate and I have had over the last couple of weeks is increased foot patrols. So getting the officers out into the neighborhoods, having them walk the neighborhoods off campus. Not all the time, but within those times that Alex and Nate feel is warranted. So you will see some additional foot patrol in the neighborhoods, which I think will help curb some of the problems that we've seen in the past. And then Chief, if you want to talk with regards to the campfires.
I was going to add one other note about ordinances, and that is in the fire code, any gathering of more than 50 or more inside a dwelling requires a place of assembly permit. So we have been called to enforce that primarily in the off-campus neighborhoods. Naturally, the life safety guards aren't in place for the most part when they do that without a permit. So please call us if that ever becomes an issue. I wanted to bring up the campfires because we've noticed an increase in illegal outside fires. Any outside fire requires a permit unless the ground is covered with snow. So that includes campfires, brush fires, and one of the issues that we're having is that we went to an online system with the state, and the problem that we're seeing is that anybody can log in and say, yes, I'm the owner of such and such property, because you do need permission from the landowner to kindle a fire. So we don't know that unless, and we see all of these, by the way, these all come to us via email. So if we see something that looks fishy, if we know it's an off-campus neighborhood, we'll go and look at it, and we're able to enforce it that way. Or we get calls from the PD or the landlords to say, hey, and it's a misdemeanor. I mean, they're perjuring themselves, number one, when they sign that application saying they are the landowner. So that is punishable by a misdemeanor, but I just wanted to mention that.
So, Jess, in your messaging, do you think we could include some of these tips
Sure.
from the police department as well as the fire department with regards to us to get out in front of it
Sure.
and get that messaging sent out to the students?
Yeah, we always like to take a proactive and preventative approach, so we're happy to send those messages.
If I forward you just a little,
Mhm.
it's 227L is the RSA, I can just forward you.
That would be great.
A
Thank
summary
you.
of that. Thanks.
Chief, is that a list that we can see as far as people who try to sign up? If it is something proposing, or is that something
You can,
specific to you?
you can call us and we can look at it really quickly.
Oh, okay.
We can see if they're on, if they have a permit or not.
Because your,
I mean,
says no outside.
right, I mean,
Mine says no outside.
right, I think you can, fire department can assume that all the large landlords have a blanket no fire policy in their lease, and that we would never call in or apply for a permit for one of our properties. I think
Yeah.
for most of the big landlords, I
If
think
there's a
you
little
can
blue
safely
house on the
assume.
outside of it, by all means, write them something.
Yeah.
They lied or.
There's plenty of others that do allow it, and they give us a letter every year. The owner gives us a letter every year authorizing them.
The only way we can enforce it, we can't assume that somebody to have permission, you know, so we can't take action on assumption
Put a
that
letter on
somebody.
file that says that, because it's in my,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
that would be
literally
helpful, but-
a contractual
Right.
obligation. They've signed it, we've signed it, there's no
Yeah.
addendum that will ever be given for an
Yeah.
There's
outside
a sign
fire.
with their logo and their phone number right on the
Right.
building. I mean, it's
They-
not like
they-
it's a random
There's
house.
zero chance that my company would ever allow someone to start an outside fire.
Yeah.
Ever. Because they don't want the liability at all.
Right.
Like, as is, the kids use grills, and our stipulation is a grill has to be 10 feet away. I've replaced probably 40 feet of siding from students that melt the side of the
Right.
building with a grill, let
A
alone.
lot of the buildings couldn't meet the setback for the campfires either. It's 25 feet to any structure and 50 feet for brush.
So I think there's some confusion too, is that they think that a campfire is something you build on the ground, so they go buy these, you know, devices that you can have a campfire in, but they don't realize that that's really a campfire, it's the same thing.
It is.
You can't have it.
Yeah,
No.
227L says any device commercial, so if it's on the ground, if you take a gas grill and throw some wood in and kindle it, that requires an outside fire and it has to meet the same setbacks. Fun fact, so.
But that being said, is that we see a lot of campfires at off-campus housing, so I'd hope that you guys, if you saw them, you would disassemble.
If I see them, if I find any semblance of a fire, every single person in the house gets a strike on the lease. If I find that, there's an active, fire pit, we disassemble, everybody gets a strike on the lease, whether I catch them with it or not. My biggest frustration is they'll damage neighbors' buildings to get firewood.
Yeah.
Poor Jane's lost a fair amount of her fence
Fence
from
posts.
kids ripping sections off of the fence. So, anytime you show up, there's fire in my spaces, please write a summons and send me an email.
I just think it's, it's key for everyone to know that, the police and the fire department work very closely together, as well as Alex and, at this current time, Steve meeting sometimes daily on what the situations are, what the coverage needed is. So, we do have an open relationship with the university, and they are meeting periodically to discuss the content of what's taking place. For example, Spring Fling, we're meeting tomorrow with regards to the logistics of Spring Fling, so those that will be involved will be at that meeting and talk about what the needs are, what the resources are, and some emergency action plans in the event that something happens. So just know that we are being very adamant about that, and we take that very seriously. So I'll give some downtown drainage project timeline and updates. Everybody might not know, but on March 15th at town meeting, the bond passed for the project to move forward. On March 20th, we assembled the contractors, the engineers, Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District, because this project's being done in collaboration with Plymouth Village Water and Sewer. So we're digging up the Main Street one time, we're digging up Russell Street one time, Warren Street, building a retention pond all on one time. The construction company that was selected is Granisi out of Salem, Massachusetts. They're a very large construction firm, and handle work like this day in and day out. So I'm confident that they'll be able to come in and complete these tasks. They're the same contractor that Plymouth Village Water and Sewer is using, so we're gonna have one contractor doing the work. They've told us this will be done in one construction season. They'll be working on North Main Street as well as South Main Street, Warren Street, Russell Street, and building a retention pond. So we had our preliminary meeting just to make sure our ducks were aligned, and on March 27th, Monday night, Ann and I will bring to the board the financing options for the bond. We've got some pretty decent interest rates, and we've been reviewing that throughout the week. So we'll bring that to the board on March 27th. On April 20th, we will move into a pre-construction meeting where town departments will be involved with regards to how that's gonna move forward. Any questions that the police have, the fire department has, the board has, we will make sure all of those questions are asked. On April 24th, we'll have a public hearing that will be presented to the public at a board meeting with regards to final timelines, where the work will start. Preliminary on our discussions the other day, most likely the first piece of work that's gonna be done from the common south will be the retention pond down by the skate park. That needs to be completed before any drainage work is done so it can flow into that retention pond. They'll do the retention pond, they'll come up over the hill, they'll hit Warren Street, they'll take Russell Street, and then they'll start working their way down Main Street towards the common. One of the first things they'll do is make sure there's temporary water connections with all of the buildings, residents, houses on that South Main Street section. So that's kind of a preliminary view of where they're going to start and how they're going to move. But further discussions to come during our pre-construction meeting when they've been in town, really taking a look and diving into it. The hope is to have Russell Street done prior to any move-in or any college activity that would take place on Russell Street, so we can get that done, resurfaced, and realigned for that move-in time in the fall. It's, like I said, one season. When EC Construction says they'll do this in one season, they should finish up by November 30th. The only thing that might happen that following spring is a resurfacing of the road and some minor planting of grass and shrubs that have been displaced during the construction. Construction is to start May 1st through the 8th. We have to start by May 8th in order to move forward with the EDA grant that we received for $2.7 million. If we don't move forward by May 8th, it jeopardizes that grant funding. So hopefully by the 24th, we'll have all our pieces in place, we'll have all our contracts signed, we'll have all the permits that we need to have in place, which our engineer is working on that, as well as Guinesi Construction. So that's the update I can give you now, but I will tell you that in my meeting with them on the 20th, I said it's not all about what we all know about it, it's how much we care about the downtown and making sure that we are being respectful, we're communicating honestly, openly, and frequently with all of those on the Main Street. And I can assure you that that will be done. We will be reporting weekly, if not more frequently. We will do a report from the look back. So what I've asked them to do, and I'm gonna require them to do, is that at the end of that first week of construction, we're gonna meet and take a look back to say what went well, what went wrong, and what do we need to improve. And then we'll look at a 2-week section out, and we'll talk about, okay, let's conquer from what we found that first week and moving forward into that second week and third week. So I will be very much involved in that project, as well as Steve St. Pierre. Our operations supervisor from Public Works will be meeting with the engineers on a morning basis and on an afternoon basis to make sure that we are providing the best possible outcome that we can provide, as well as keeping everybody informed of what's happening on the Main Street. So that's the update I have today, but we will have more coming forward.
Questions? For Scott? Let's take us to kind of the end of our agenda. We're open for public comment, questions, and if there's something that someone wants to know that we haven't addressed, now's your opportunity.
I truly appreciate you all taking the time to come tonight and to have a conversation. It's all about the dialogue, it's all about the questions, it's all about making sure that we come together as a community, and both from a town perspective and as from a university perspective, we're working collaboratively to make sure things are running smoothly. So I truly appreciate your time of coming tonight, and further meetings or next meeting, we will make sure is posted and communicated, so that we can have the attendance we have tonight. But I don't know if Alex, Nate, Tom, Kevin, any further comment?
Good, thank you.
John? Jess?
Just echoing Scott with my gratitude. It was very heartening to see so many people gather this evening. I initially came to PSU in 1999 as a student, and I never left because this is a great community. So we just appreciate your engagement and partnership.
You know, that's important, Jess, because today I was at the library, Peace Public Library, meeting with the director who is leaving. She's retiring from her position and will be hiring a new librarian. But I didn't realize that Rebecca White, the assistant librarian, went to school at Plymouth State University from Manchester and never left Plymouth, and has been working with us since she graduated from Plymouth State University. And in speaking with Rebecca today, she's had some opportunities that have been very enlightening for her, but she's chose to stay in Plymouth, live in Plymouth, work in Plymouth. So it does say something about that connection. Chief, Lieutenant, sorry.
No worries, no, I got nothing. Thank you.
Zach?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Tracy?
I'm good, thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Alex, I have a question for you.